before the Olympia, when Branch was getting ready, he experienced a tragic injury. You know, I knew something was wrong. You know, Branch is extremely powerful in all his pressing movements, and you could tell something was definitely bothering his tricep. He'd already torn the other one several years before, and I was very fearful that something tragic was going to happen to him, and sure enough, it did. You know, he wasn't lifting. You know, he really wasn't lifting the weights he used to lift. We were having to wrap him up all the time. It was definitely affecting him, and then one day, you know, just with a trip, and away it went. He was, to say the least, very disappointed. We all were. It happened right before, I believe, the Europa Championships that were here, and you know, we had lots of photo shoots down here. I got to view a lot of the pros as they were going into the Europa in top shape, and not a one of them was at the level of conditioning that he was already at 6 or 8 weeks out before the Olympia. So I knew he was going to be in really great condition and do something great at the Olympia this year. But you know, it wasn't in God's plan for him for it to work out that way for him. I don't know why things always work out the way they do, but you know, there's always a reason. And of course, he was very disappointed. I remember the moment it happened. I actually prayed for him. You know, we put oil on him. You know, I believe in the old ways. The Bible says to anoint injuries with oil and pray for him. And so that's what we did. And you know, a lot of people think that's crazy, but I've seen miraculous healings many, many times, and I feel his is one of them. Yeah, he still had to have surgery, but the recovery from that surgery was just, you know, it was incredible. I mean, I'm sure probably if he'd have done everything the doctors want him to do, he would just now be getting back into heavy training. Within a matter of a couple weeks, he was already back working out. You know, and he used common sense. He wasn't doing 405 inclines when he came back. Basically started back with one wheel, gradually just started adding weight, you know, just going by how it felt. He started using less weight on a lot of his arm movements, but really I think that helped him. Branch has always been an insane type trainer. You know, when he was a young man, it's back when all of us were in our, well, you know, all of us older guys, me and Ronnie, and we were all, you know, blasting away mega weights, and you know, that's the only way he knew. You know, he did just like we did, and he trained crazy hard, and of course that's probably why he's gotten some of these injuries that he's you know, gotten and also overcome. You know, he's definitely an overcomer. You know, in this sport, that's what separates the champions from the wannabes. You know, he wants to be a winner. He is a winner. You know, nobody really in my book works harder than him. I mean, they call him the people's champion, and there's a reason for that, because the average journeyman bodybuilder can really relate to him because they've seen him get hurt, they've seen him come back. That was what I really used to admire in Dorian Yates. I mean, Dorian Yates suffered horrendous injuries that just kept coming back. You know, he was never stopped. He was never disappointed or deterred. And Branch is exactly the same way. The other day, I was looking at him. He was doing a double bicep, and I got a picture of Dorian that of his, you know, one of his most famous Kevin Horton shots, doing a double bicep in his underwear. And I looked at Branch, I looked at that picture, I looked back, and I hate to say it, Dorian, but I think that Branch had you beat on that day.
Yeah, I went to the top. I went. Go. Ah! Woo. Yeah, get some. Come on. Yep. Awesome, baby. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yep. Ain't nothing. Come on. Yeah. Yes, sir. Come on. Go. Make a difference. Make a difference right now. Go. 2 more weeks. Come on. 2 weeks. Go. Let's go. Come on. Awesome, man. Come on, man. Come on. Come on.
You know, but it was just, it was kind of eerie the way it looked up very similar to me, the two of them. Branch was in his underwear here, Dorian was in his underwear at the Temple Gym. And, just two great Iron Warriors, man, that are overcomers. And I think another thing that really helped him is that in the meantime, Branch actually started to really gave his life over to the Lord. I was actually there when said the prayer of salvation, him and his wife. It was an awesome thing to me. I started crying like a little girl. I probably embarrassed the crap out of him. Sometimes, I'm a big tough guy, but when it comes to things like that, I'm the biggest wimp on the planet. And it was just such a touching thing to see a man and wife both do that. And I really feel the Lord is going to use him and work through him. I believe he's healed totally. I think he's going to go on and do great things. Just really, I think he's been giving a new insight, a wisdom on how to train better and more sensibly, and with, still with tremendous intensity, but in some of these movements, actually, holding it and flexing it. There's so many different ways to train. Like when he was younger, when Branch was younger, I mean, he trained with me. Actually, I was his training partner as he was getting ready for the Teen Nationals, and he beat Jay Cutler that year. His normal trainer at the time was also getting ready for the USA, I believe. Both of them were having, emotional problems on the diet, and they weren't getting along together. And, the guy just told me that, he goes, man, will you train with him? Because I'm tired of putting up with this crap. I said, yeah, I'd love to train with him. And, and even when he was 19 or whatever, he was pretty much at my level. And even though, I was a national level bodybuilder, he didn't have any problem keeping up with me. And, we've always trained hard. He's always had that super hardcore work ethic, and that's really all he's ever known. A lot of the stuff we did back then was maybe a little sloppy form, but we'd lift it, no matter what. And especially like in the back movements, we do really heavy bent over rows, up to 500 pounds, things like that. And now probably don't do quite as much weight, but do it with a lot better form. Branch's back has always been very big, but it never had the detail that his front had. Over this last 6-7 months of training, that's probably been the biggest difference of what we've really worked on, is that, holding and contracting those movements, still doing heavy things, but also doing stricter, lighter, holding it, flexing it, holding for a long period of time, more variety. I mean, the back workout probably has 10 to 12 different exercises in it, and it's very intense.